Live, are we not?
Yes, so.
We're good. We're live. Well, I don't come on live very often, but I wanted to tell everybody tomorrow we're going to have a lot of thunderstorms. So make sure that you tie things down because I think it may be tornado watches and warning and a lot of wind. So be very careful tomorrow. Um, I've got a couple of things I wanted to talk about tonight. I know I don't get on here too often, but I want to do this more and more as I can in order for people to know who I am and what's going on and the status of our campaign. So I'm looking to see if we have very many people joining us. Do we? We got some folks joining us. And so let me tell you what I wanted to talk about. I want to talk a little bit about tonight. I went to a meeting at the Republican Party headquarters, and it was a meeting by the Republican National Lawyers Association, and their guest speaker was my friend Clint Lancaster, and it was about election integrity, and he talked about what was happening in Wisconsin and the election fraud that was going on there, and he's been working on that several months. He and several other attorneys. It was a great presentation, and I wish there had been a lot more people there. But I know people are busy, but election integrity is so important, and we all need to get involved. And I will tell you right now, one of the things I walked away with tonight, of course, is I've always thought the election was stolen. But there's some things that we can do about it. And I think about being a poll watcher, think about being a poll worker, one of the two, to get involved in this year's election, particularly the primary. I think it's very important. So if you have some extra time, there's a lady, really nice individual, great lady. She's running for JP. Her name is Lori Justice. If you want to call my campaign phone at 501-339-9000, or you want to email us at info@electconrad.com, we'll get back with you with her information so that she can help set you up when they're having training. She can do it via Zoom. I think that's what she's trying to do. The goal is to get people trained so that they can be a part of the political process here to make sure that we have good election integrity and our elections are not stolen. So anyway, that's one thing I took away. The other thing I took away, which I thought was quite funny, is that I think it's more likely than not that Mr. Hill probably will start changing his tune, because I think that he's finding out that he's taking a hit big time for his comments about the election, not the election of 2020 not being stolen, that it was fiction and folly, that Trump didn't know what he was talking about, that people who believe that don't know what they're talking about. I think now he's changing his tune a little bit because he knows that that's hurting him. But he had an opportunity to do the right thing right after the 2020 election, and he chose not to. He turned his back on the people of Arkansas, and he turned his back on President Trump. And guess what? If we could have done something, I'm not saying we could have, but if we could have, we wouldn't have had Joe Biden there, who he, by the way, confirmed with his vote to be the president of the United States. And that's a big problem, and you can just see it right now. Are you happy with the gas prices? Are we happy with 1 million illegals already crossing our border? I mean, it's record numbers, all because we allowed Joe Biden to take office. And I think that there at least was a fighting chance, but Mr. Hill didn't even give it that. So it's a day late and a dollar short. So if he does come out and change, which I suspect he probably will, it just shows that he'll do anything to get elected. And so let's watch out for that in the coming days. Okay. A couple other things to talk about as far as election integrity. I think it's so important that I'm bringing another individual here, a friend of mine, by the name of, his name is Mark Fincham. Now, Mark, I'm going to show this to you. This is our flyer. You can see. Mark is running for Secretary of State in Arizona. He's been endorsed by President Trump because President Trump knows how important the Secretary of State is when it comes to elections. And he wants to make sure that Arizona is run properly. But Mark is a current representative in Arizona. He comes on many shows. And so the War Room with Steve Bannon is one of them, able to give exact information about how that election was stolen and what they did. And he's coming here to Arkansas, to Little Rock, on the 29th of April at 6 p.m. It's a Friday night. Again, I'm going to show it to you. You can go to my website, electconrad.com. It's a fun, but it's also informative. It gives people information about both what actually happened in Arizona, and Clint Lancaster, the attorney I was telling you about earlier, who's working in Wisconsin, who spoke tonight, he's also going to come. So we're going to have two experts on how the election was stolen and the fraud in their states. And I think it's very important. So please go online right now if you can and buy a ticket. We're trying to get 200 people there if possible. And it is going to be worth your time. It's not much. It's a $50 ticket. And we'll have finger foods and some drinks there. But I think that you really, really will get something out of it. Plus, you'll be helping my campaign, because we need a lot of help in order to be able to, this last month and a half or 2 months, get our message out. But that'll be on the 29th of April. I got another thing I want to share with you real quick. I don't know if y'all seen this piece here. This is our comparison piece. It compares me with French Hill. When you open it up, it's got a comparison. It's got what French Hill has done and believes in, and what I believe in. And we have a little program we call Forward 40. If you could do me a favor and take a picture of this, you can get online or whatever, and forward it to 40 of your friends. Let other people know that you are voting for me and that you support me and that you want them to as well, and for them to forward it to 40 of their friends. And this is how we're going to win the race. We know there's a certain amount of people who will never, ever come on Facebook. But if they get a text from you telling them who you're voting for, that'll help a lot in our endeavor to win this election. And believe me, we're going to win it. We are going to win it. But in order to make yourself stronger, get 3 or 4 or 5 of your friends on election day, get them in your car and take them to the polls. And say, just tell them, hey, you're going to buy them ice cream. All of my ice cream after you vote. Because a lot of people just sit back and then they forget about it, what their vote matters. Let me tell you something. In this election, in this primary, every vote matters. Every vote counts. And I'm asking you please to do that because we need you and I need your help. I want to tell all of my fans and the people who are my supporters, thank you from the bottom of my heart. We really appreciate all your effort. And I will tell you a couple of things that we've been doing, and I want to tell you one quick story. We've gone to a couple of gun shows. I was in Conway this last weekend, met hundreds of people, talking to them about my campaign, and I just about every one of them were excited and willing to go vote for me. And to all of you, thank you. The weekend before that, we were up Springs. We went to the gun show there. But one of the story I wanted to tell you is after we went to the Heber gun show, I went up to the, if you know, it's the Drago Trading Post. There's a guy there who owns it. His name is David Lee. And the Drago Trading Post it's a destination point. It's on Highway 25, just north of Heber Springs, where if you were riding your motorcycle, man, you want to go there. And I love it. I love going there. David is a wonderful guy. Got all kinds of a selection of motorcycle parts, helmets, you name it, he's got it. But he and I were talking, and I had mentioned that I may be going to see President Trump for a fundraiser back in the early part of May. I'll go. And he said, could you do me a favor? And I said, what is it? He said, well, he had a grandson named Christian Jackson. And his grandson, 10 years ago, was in a very, very bad accident. Actually, it's a sad story because his father had just passed away about a month before that, a very, very short time. And then he was with his mother and his sister, and they had a really bad car accident where a drunk driver hit them. They didn't think that Christian was going to survive. He was 10 years old. He had a lot of medical issues that occurred from that accident, and they didn't think that he was going to live. But he survived. He survived. And David asked me, was there any way I could possibly ask President Trump if we could get his signature on something? I said, well, you know what? I have no idea, but I will try my best to see if we could do something. And my campaign made a few calls and contacted a few people. And believe it or not, within a week, so just yesterday, he got Christian got a package. Actually, went to the Glasgow Trading Post, and then David took it to his grandson. It was a package from President Trump, and it had an autographed MAGA hat with Donald Trump's signature and a card with it to Christian. And Christian and I talked on the phone yesterday, and he was so happy, so excited that President Trump actually sent him something. And he said, President Trump is the greatest president ever. And I agree with him. The man's got a big heart. And the fact that he did that, I really, really thank him for that. And I'm glad that we were a small part with it to be able to facilitate that. But it just goes to show you, when you care about people and you want to do something, and that's what I'm all about. That's what my campaign's about. And that's what President Trump's about. And I give him all the credit for acting quickly and sending something to Christian. It's going to make his day, his week, his month, probably his whole year. And so that was a good story. It's a good feeling story. And I wanted to share that with you. But other than that, everything's good. I hope that you tell everybody you can about me. Tell them about our race. Go to our website, electconrad.com. If you have any questions, feel free to give us a call, 501-339-9000. And we're going to push hard. We're going to work hard every day for you. And after we're elected, and we're going to get elected. We're going to get elected. We're going to win the primary. And after that, I can assure you we're going to win the general. And then, you know what? We're going to make big changes in Washington, D.C. I promise you that. But anyway, until the next time, I hope y'all have a wonderful night. And look forward to talking to you later on. And talk to you later. Thanks, Penny. And thanks, William. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye-bye.